Welcome back. If you aren't aware, I want to make this video in response to Biden when he made that commencement speech at a black HBCU about the real problem today is white supremacy. I don't see that as a problem. It might be a problem in a niche community, but what I'm going through, I think the real problem is the liberal white Democrats. Those are the real problems, right? They at first liberal white Democrats are full blown racists out in front back in the 1950s, right, 40s, right. The Southern Democrats, they're the founder of the KKK, but once they evolve over time, the racism kind of they're more conniving of hiding their racism, right. For example, if you a white person would likely to point out a minority problem due to the races than a conservative person, right? A conservative problem point out the problem to the, for example, they point out problem that the problem is the economy, the numbers bad, the policy, right? While white liberal Democrat racism seem to make out the person that the problem is that you're a victim, right? Don't know what they're saying, that it's kind of a subtle racism, right? That's what I'm seeing today. They're more subtle with their racism than they are back then. Back then it's a free fall. They invented Jim Crow, right? Right? They invented Jim Crow. All these racist things. Even how I'm gonna say this. Malcolm X said the problem to the world is white liberal Democrats because a conservative would say it to your face, right? Or not conservative. He compared white liberal Democrats as foxes, and other and Republican conservative whites are more like wolves, right? They tell you how it is, right? They tell you, hey, I don't like you here, right? But the thing with white Democrats, racist, liberal white Democrats, he compared them to foxes. They could lie to you, they could smile to you, but at the end of the day, they could still attack you like wolves, right? That's what they're doing right now. They're lying to you, smiling, making you the victims. That you're the victim. That you're the problem of your failure is not the government. Is your race, right? That's why these racist white liberals are more destructive because they will lie to you in front of your face. For me, for example, I would rather know who's a racist than somebody who say they aren't a racist and find out later that they stabbed me behind my back. I would rather for you to stab me in my face than to have somebody stab me in the back, right? I would rather let somebody tell me the truth, tell me my flaws, than somebody cater to me and tell me and lie to me that there's nothing wrong with me, right? Those kind of things, cause you don't know the person who's more dangerous is the person you can't trust, right? The person that you think you could trust, and next you know they wind up stabbing you in your back, right? Who is Julius Caesar's main? Who is his killer? Brutus, right? He trusts Brutus, and what happened? Brutus stabbed him in the back. It tells you that these white Democrats are like Brutus. They say something to you, right? Telling you all this stuff. Next thing you know, they'll stab you in the back, by not delivering, by not making promises, right? And what he's doing right now, Joseph Biden, right? He try use black victimhood, that white people are the reason why they're so oppressed, which is not. Today in 2023, we got the same opportunity or more opportunity than we were back 50 years ago. There's more black millionaires, billionaires than there were 50 years ago. If that's the case, how are they oppressed? Right? They don't want the competitions. He's using them. Right? The enemy is not white supremacy. I don't see any white supremacy. I'm not going to say it does not exist. There are some of them out there to exist, but not to the point of back in the 40s and 50s, right? Right now, what, white supremacy people is openly KKK, right? There's like, I don't know the exact percentage, but I know it's fewer than it was 50 years ago, right? Maybe in the prison population, but those people in the prison population, they're not hiding the white supremacy, right? I respect that even more if they don't hide it, because I know who to avoid and who not to avoid. The person you should be scared of is people that's hiding their racism, right? That's hiding their racism, say they're not racist. In actuality, they are, which is the white liberal Democrats. Those are the person you should be worried about the most. Those minorities should be worried about these people the most. instead of white conservative, right? I gotta let people tell me the truth, regardless hurtful or not, so I can learn from my mistakes, so I can learn how to fix the truth. I mean, fix the problem. Then people telling me lies that there is no problem, right? You have to know how to distinguish this, right? Unfortunately, people out there are still blue pill. They still believe that the Democratic are for their people. What was the last thing they delivered? They're the party of broken promise. They never deliver anything. They never solve anything. Right? Joe Biden, all his policies are all failures when you compare it to everyone else. Right? He's been creating all this inflation, all these problems in the world we're going through right now, and he's trying to brag about it. Right? If it's up to me, he is the problem. Right? He said the real problem is white supremacy. Okay, if that's the problem, Joseph Biden, why don't you look in the mirror? What are you? Aren't you white? Right? And aren't you a Democrat? Right? So by that case, people should use their mind and associate what he's saying is he's describing himself. Right? Notice he didn't say conservative or Republicans, white Republican, Democrat. He said white supremacy. If that's the case, then he fall under that category as well. He's just admitting himself as a white supremacist. Right? And there's video evidence of him time after time saying all this disparaging thing about minorities. Right? About how Barack Obama was the most articulate black person or colored person that he met in a long time. What does that mean? What is he insinuating? That all the other black that he met before Barack Obama are not articulate? Right? And he made a disparaging comment about Indian people, that you go to every convenience store, right? You see nothing but Indian people. What does that mean? There's no so Indian people are just limited to convenience stores? Is that what he's saying? Right? There's all these examples of him making this racial comments about other minorities, and suddenly that just eluded people, right? And there's time at the time where he lied to the people. Time at the time he admittedly he was corrupt. He paid off what he was bribing the Ukraine president on video when he was speaking at the World Economic Forum. Suddenly that doesn't exist. Right? And then there's another one where he said, what did he say? Well, I'll come to mind. I just lost track of thoughts. But anyway, there's been numerous examples of video of him saying all this stuff. Right? There's a video of him saying that he did dumb things and he will continue to do dumb things again. Okay, what's the logic of that? Okay, you did dumb things and you can do dumb things again. What does that tell him as a person? He will be corrupt again. He will not learn his lessons. He will continue to do dumb things. Right? That's what it means. Right? That means he just admits to himself, I won't learn from my lesson. I will continue to do dumb things. That's what he said. Right? And there's another one where he said that he was saying something about drugs, and while he was saying something about drugs, his son is a crackhead. Right? He said all this stuff. He don't want his son to be, or a world where in a racist jungle, right? Or not just a racist. He don't want drugs in the society, but yet again his son is doing drugs, right? And he don't want his children to live in the racial jungles, right? But yet again, he letting crimes. He let his DA, Department of Justice, elude crimes and let it just happen everywhere, right? All he's saying is hypocritical things, right? If it's up to me, he is the real white supremacist. The Democratic Party is the liberal Democrats. The liberal white Democrats. They are the real problems what's going on in this world, and people just don't understand it. Right? People need to wake up at this point, right? This administration is the reason why we're in deep trouble right now. Right? The real white supremacy is not the problem. The real white supremacy are the Democratic Party. And that's a fact, Jack. And people just don't understand that. Right? We still have liberals out there who just elude that fact. Why don't you do your research? Right? Instead of listening to gossip, just don't take my word for it. Go research it out yourself. Do you think the liberal media is going to tell you that? Do you think MSNBC can tell you that? Do you think CNN is going to tell you that? No. Are you putting that much trust onto mainstream media? Right? Where it's showing fact after fact that mainstream media have been lied to you all this time? Right? So it's not white supremacy. It's a real problem. The real problem is high rate of crimes, kids without their family, broken family household. Those are the real problems, which lead to a lot of crime, which lead to a lot of delinquency, which lead to a lot of juvenile crime, right? And these democratic policies, those are the real problems, right? If I miss something, leave your comment below and I'll comment on it or I'll check it out. But on that note, guys, what can I say? Democratic is the real white supremacist. But as of right now, as always, peace and blessing. Have a good day.